Welcome to Chapter 1, Lesson 9, Estimate Roots. Our learning target objective for this lesson is to use roots to estimate solutions. And once again, we do not have any vocabulary for this lesson. Woo-hoo! So we're going to jump into our examples. Now we're estimating. Estimating is an educated guess. But you have to back up your educated guess as well. So we're going to look at finding the square root of 83. And doing so, the largest perfect square less than 83. So what's the perfect square less than the first one? Closest to 83, but less than 83. That's a perfect square. Well, 7 times 7 is 49. 8 times 8 is 64. 9 times 9 is 81. That's pretty close. So we'll look at 81 first. So the square root of 81. 83. 83 is going to be the next one. Probably 10 times 10 is 100. So our square root of 100. So our square root of 83 falls in between the square root of 81 and the square root of 100. It's going to take an effect. We just saw 9 times 9 is 81, so that is there. Square root of 83, we still don't know what that is yet. And the square root of 100 is, we just did 10 times 10. So we know the square root of 83 falls somewhere between 9 and 10. So as you see on the board, there's a number line. If you please draw a number line, label it as I have, 9 through 9, 9.25, and so on up to 10. I'm going to pause the video. Once you're done, you may resume the video. Okay, so now we're looking at the square root of 83. Now we're estimating. Estimating, we're going to look at 83. Where's 83 fall between 81 and 100? Well, it's closer to 81. So guessing that the square root of 83 is going to be closer to the 9. It's not even halfway between 81 and 100, so it's probably be less than 9.25. And really, we're only 2 numbers away from 81, so my guess, that's somewhere right around there would probably be the square root of 83. Just going to use some reasoning. Between 81 and 100, it's real close to 81, so it's probably going to be real close to 9 as the square root of 83. There's your estimate. So again, we can always use a calculator, look up the square root of 83. You find the exact location, but we're just estimating for right now, so that's all we need to do. That's all they're asking for. Now we're going to estimate the cube root of 320. Remember, the cube root is a number times itself 3 times. So let's find the largest perfect cube less than 320 is 216. So we're going to take 216. It's greater than the cube root of 320. And then the largest one after that, smallest perfect cube greater than 320 is 343. We have 343 right there. Cube root of that. Now the cube root of 216 is 6. 6 times 6 times 6 gets you 216. I know our cube root of 320 is in there. And then, guessed it already, 7 times 7 times 7 is 343. So somewhere our cube root of 320 is going to fall between 6 and 7. You see the number line? Are you drawing out? Please draw that. You may pause the video to draw out your number line and then start back up once you are done. Okay, now we're estimating. We're trying to find educated guess. Look at 320. And it's closer to either one. Yes, it's a lot closer to 343 than it is 216. Only 23 numbers off here and 104 there. So 320, cube root of 320 is going to fall closer to 7. It's more than halfway, so it's going to be past the 6.5. And it's probably going to be past the 6.75. It's probably going to be right around in there. It'll be our cube root of 320. So again, it's just an educated guess. No deducting, looking at the number, seeing if it's right in the middle, obviously it'd be around 6.5, but it's a lot closer to 3.43, so we're going to move it right there on the number line. Okay, remember, again, any questions, you may write them down. We're going to go over plenty of examples in class to make sure you understand this concept. And our real world example. Wyatt wants to fence in a square portion of the yard to make a play area for his new puppy. One side of the square measures square root of 2 meters. How much fencing should Wyatt buy? Okay, once again, always draw pictures if possible. So I've drawn a square. And on here, one side of the square measures square root of 2 meters. It's a square, so that means every side of our yard measures the square root of 2 meters. Okay, once again, we're estimating. We're trying to estimate about how much fencing Wyatt should buy. So, looking at the square root of 2, we know probably the square root of 2 falls somewhere between 1 and 2. Square root of 2 is somewhere between 1 and 2. So, that being said, each side is between 1 and 2 meters. We need 4 of them, so we're going to multiply everything by 4. So our fencing, we're going to need somewhere between 4 to 8 meters of fencing. Depending on the price of fencing, that's quite a lot of extra to buy if we don't want to. So see if we can estimate a little bit closer to for Wyatt. So what we're going to do, if you look at, if you put the square root of 2 in the calculator, you get 1.414213562. That's a pretty big number, so we're going to knock all that down and just give us 1.4. So let's say the square root of 2 equals 1.4. Once again, remember, that's just one side of our fence. We need all 4 sides for our yard. So multiply that times 4. And now that's going to give us 5.6 and 6. And somewhere between there is 4 times the square root of 2. And between 5.6 meters and 6 meters is how much fencing we're going to need. So when you're going to the store, usually you don't say I need 5.6 gallons of milk. Usually you're going to round up in this case. So best estimate, you're going to tell Wyatt that he is probably going to need about 6 meters of fencing. Fencing for his yard. That's at the high end, but once again, you can't. We don't want to go short. If we went 5, he wouldn't have enough fencing for his yard. Okay, any questions? Please write them down. As I said, we will go over many more examples and real examples in class. Make sure you understand the concept.